Sony entered into the video game console market back in 1994 after a deal to collaborate with Nintendo fell through. This led Sony to release the PlayStation, or the PS1, which went on to sell 100 million units to this date. 6 years later, in the year 2000, Sony released the successor to the PlayStation and aptly named it the PlayStation 2. The PlayStation 2 pulled no punches and happily went on to becoming the best-selling video game console of all time, with over 155 million units sold as of the end of 2012. Sony's next console, the PlayStation 3, was released in 2006, which kept the neat 6-year console life for the predecessor. The PlayStation 3 was not as successful as the previous console, and this can be directly attributed to some crippling issues that surfaced with online account security, which saw the system forced offline for about a month. Further to the PlayStation 3's demise was also the booming success of Microsoft's Xbox 360, which clearly took the console war seriously. In 2013, 7 years after the release of the PlayStation 3, the PlayStation 4 was unleashed into the world. The PlayStation 4 was a direct product of Sony's realization of where they went wrong with the PlayStation 3. The PlayStation 4 was directed at gamers and making the gaming experience the center of all activity. This resonated with gamers of the world and saw the PlayStation 4 sell about 3 times the amount of its competition, the Xbox One. In the last week, we've received news from Sony about the choice to reboot the current generation of gaming with a halfway point refresh of the console. All previous PlayStation models have received a refresh with a slimmed down model, but never before has a more powerful version been released at the halfway point. Gamers around the world have been torn between whether it's a good thing or a detrimental thing to the gaming community. It was with this split among the Aussie Gamers Express community and admin team that we have put this special show together to discuss the direction that Sony have decided to take. Settle in for the next hour or so and get prepared for some emotionally fueled opinions on the direction and fate of the PlayStation 4. Hey Aussie Gamers, this is episode 143 and today is Tuesday the 13th of September 2016. Today's show is a special feature show all about Sony and more specifically their direction with the PlayStation 4 Pro. I am your host Lucas and here with me is my co-host and very good friend Red. How are you, mate?
Great, man. I feel like the Terminator after that intro because they actually had different models and that surpassed and mid-generation upgrades and back in time.
That's a very powerful drum beat there, isn't it?
Yeah.
Alright, calm down, Sarah Connor. Also adding their thoughts and opinions this week, we've got 2 more of the Aussie Gamers Express team joining us. So in no particular order, firstly we've got Snoogans, a long-time fan of the PlayStation. Welcome to the show, mate.
How are you, boys?
Yes, very good. Very happy to have you here. And also, we have Weeksy, and it's his first time on a podcast, but I'm sure he'll warm up very quickly with some passionate opinions on the PlayStation, so also a very big welcome to you two, mate. How are you?
How we going, boys? Just be gentle on me, please. I'm a little bit fragile.
Alright, we'll do our best. Okay, now, kind of a little bit different to our usual show, but I'll try and run through what our goals are for this special show and what we're going to go through. So, there's a couple of questions here that are main topical to what we're going to be going through. Hopefully we'll manage to answer these questions towards the end of the show. So firstly up, it's what is the PS4 Pro? Secondly, what does it mean for gamers? Third one, what are our opinions? And fourth, what is the PlayStation Slim? We're also going to be talking about that one. And lastly, hopefully we will answer the question of will we buy one of the Pro consoles or the Slim console. Start off with the first question there. We're going to answer what is the PS4 Pro. What I've got here, just in a quick sentence, it's a high-end PS4 capable of 4K HDR and smoother frame rates. And smoother is in inverted commas because they haven't said specifically 60 frames, 120 frames or anything like that. Smoother frame rate. So, what is the... Red, do you want to give me your opinion? What is the PS4 Pro?
A rip-off. No. Straight into it. Yeah, look, it's near, from what I can read with the specs and the comparisons, it's nearly bridging the gap between PC gaming and console gaming while still remaining true to its form of being a console. You say smoother, because we got promised 60, 1080 from day one. We got a lot of things promised to us from day one, and I think this is just another broken promise from day one.
I'd have to agree as well there. I think we'll discuss it later in the show, but what they're promising with the Pro, it'll be interesting to see if they can actually deliver, like Red said.
Ambiguous.
Yeah, well, Snoogans, you made a mention. I sent you a link to an FAQ that was prepared on PlayStation blog, and what did you say? It was something that it's very something worded.
It's worded very carefully.
Yeah, carefully worded.
It's definitely written by someone in marketing.
Yeah, it's they've sort of avoided specifics without.
The biggest thing is the games in up to 4K.
Yeah. So that's the thing. It's up to 4K with smoother frame rates. It just, I don't know. It's like they've releasing a console that everyone believes is going to be this big 4K killer machine that's going to play all games on 4K, but the PlayStation 4 was meant to be able to play everything at 1080, but that didn't happen.
Can I stop you there?
Yeah, go ahead, Red.
Is that Sony's fault or developers?
Yeah, well, that's a valid point.
Because, it's up to 4K, but I think the only reason I ask this is I've got a lot of pros and cons. We've been doing a bit of research on this. Straight away, as soon as I heard it, I was anti, and I'm still leaning that way, which we will explore later. But it is up to 4K. It can deliver in 4K, but then the onus is then going to fall back on the developers being able to punch it out at 4K, and that again is where the problem is. You touched on everything in the intro from PS1 to PS2 to PS3. PS3 didn't hit its straps to The Last of Us.
Yeah.
Has the vanilla PS4 given developers and indie developers enough time to completely utilize everything that it's capable of doing, in your opinion? That's
a very good point that raises, Red. When you think of the PlayStation 3 and you look at how piss poor the games look now that came out on day one versus The Last of Us that came out in basically the last year before the PS4 came out, and how amazing that game looked. Now, is that, when you go back to day one, is that because the console couldn't handle the graphics? No, because it was the exact same console on day one than it was on the last day, right? It was the developers that didn't know how to utilise what the console had.
Trying to play it safe.
Yeah.
They wanted something that was going to run, and run fluently, I suppose, more than anything. And Naughty Dog really pushed it to its limits when it came to The Last of Us. It squeezed. I honestly don't think the PlayStation 3 had anything left to give while running The Last of Us.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. That brings me back to the original question of what is the PlayStation 4? What is it other than a way to cheat the PlayStation 4 out of its potential? Because after 7 years of development with the PlayStation 3, the console was hitting strides. It was massive with The Last of Us. Even earlier games that they were still starting to get really good. Now that was the developers using it. Now we're essentially, the PlayStation 4 Pro is rebooting the 7-year lifespan of the console. They've all been about 6 or 7 years, which was pointed out in the intro, right? What PS4 Pro is doing is restarting it. We're rebooting the PlayStation 4 generation, which is going to put us back at the beginning on where the 4K, in inverted commas, games are going to be shit, at the beginning, rather than taking what the PlayStation 4 was and is and using it to its full potential. We're never going to get the full potential out of the PlayStation 4 now, I believe.
No, it's done.
No, well, isn't the vanilla platform, you want to call it, isn't part of the power of that still locked off? They haven't released the power of it to all the developers?
That I don't know. I don't know how that works. I know a little bit about like the Xbox One, how they had some locked off for the Kinect, but I'm not sure about the PlayStation having. I know they did unlock an extra core or something like that a little while ago, but I don't know if there's any more locked away.
Yeah, I thought there was one more, whether it's something that they've got locked away for VR or, something further along the line. There was, I haven't heard of it being opened up to its full potential.
Yeah.
And when like Naughty Dog come along and make a game like Uncharted 4 that runs smoothly, looks incredible, the textures, the different elements in the environment, everything comes across looking realistic. It's the need for the 4K as well.
So does that mean we have to sit back and we have to wait for Naughty Dog to make a game to get the full potential out of our hardware? Is essentially what we're saying, isn't it?
Pretty much.
Unfortunately, it's looked like that the past couple of years.
Yeah, well, they just seem like the only ones that managed to squeeze it all out, right?
Yeah, it's just
Rocket League's pretty spot on.
It is what it is, and I just feel that it's we're sort of answering different questions here rather than what is PS4 Pro, but that's essentially in a nutshell plus others what the PS4 Pro is. But what does it mean for us? Like, what are we going to get out of it? We're going to get higher resolutions if you've got the right television, if you've got a 4K television. HDR. Do any of you guys actually know what HDR is well enough to explain it?
Yeah, certainly do.
I've got Google's there. Oh, yeah, you're in the industry. Let him go.
Go on, Wixie.
I sell TVs for a living, so I have to know a lot of this sort of stuff. HDR stands for High Dynamic Range.
Yep.
And basically what it does, it will give you a greatly increased colour depth, I should say, and a greater contrast as well. It also produces an image that is nearest to what the human eye can see. And at this stage, though, in Australia, Panasonic are about the only ones that do anything with it, and it is on their higher-end TVs. So something that has not been introduced mainstream as yet, like a lot of 4K tellies are now. Just for a reference for you guys, a 60-inch TCL 4K telly, for example, will sell for roughly around $1,100.
Mm-hmm.
HDR, been around for a long time, especially in photography, and they've only just started to actually implement that into TV. But as I said, at this stage, it's only in your really high-end TVs and monitors that you'll actually get that benefit.
Yeah.
In comparison to that $1,100 telly, what's the HDR telly going to cost you?
At a high-end Panasonic, you're looking at roughly anywhere from $4,000 and upwards.
Oh, nice. PS4 Pro just got cheaper.
Jesus. So, look, cause, you've mentioned that HDR is big with photography, and that's what I understand it. Put it into photography terms. You know how, like, if you take a photo on your iPhone or your smartphone and you touch the foreground to adjust the exposure, and if it's at night time, the person will become visible and the background like blacks out.
Yep.
And then if you touch the background sort of becomes visible, and then the person might white out or whatever, because it's the two different exposures. And a HDR shot will take two photos of the two separate exposures and layer them over the top of each other to give you sort of like that halfway point, which is, like you said, Weeksy, a little bit more like what the human eye can see.
Yep.
Is that...
Oh, the iPhone 7 just introduced that, sorry. Plug.
No, HDR's been around on iPhones for many, many years.
Yeah, but it's got the two shutters now, or takes the two photos now.
Yeah, I don't think it's got to do with HDR, though.
Okay.
That's like telephoto and shit. the zooming. But anyway, I'm a nerd with that sort of stuff. But is HDR something we want in our games? Do we need it, and do we want it?
If
Yes.
your TV's not capable, no.
Well, no, it's not. It's not going to be any good for you.
No.
Exactly.
If you haven't got something that's capable of running HDR, it's near on going to destroy it in some cases.
No, but my point is though, let's just say I've got a TV that's
In
HDR
a perfect
compatible.
world, yeah.
Do I want it?
Yes.
Yes.
It'll give you greater depth, yeah.
But if I'm playing a game that's supposed to be dark, is it going to make parts of the game visible? I know this is probably going to be determined by the developers. They could probably tweak it, but is it going to make parts of the game visible that shouldn't be?
Well,
No, you'd
essentially
probably
no.
actually get a better black.
Yeah,
because
a
the
deeper
black
black.
has become blacker and the whites become whiter.
Yeah.
Right, so
So-
I clearly don't understand HDR.
You know how if you're in a dark area on a game and you get that sort of that
Your
grey
haze.
digitizing,
Yeah, well, get rid of that.
get rid of. Yeah.
It
Okay.
blends it a lot more.
All right,
So it'll be black. Yeah. Colour depth.
all right. I'll start saving up for HDR telly then.
Yeah. Quickly, is the PlayStation VR HDR?
No,
Uh,
no, definitely not. The PlayStation VR does not support 4K and does not support HDR.
right.
So what's the fucking point?
Of point of what?
HDR
Well,
technology
it's for your TV, isn't it?
for the 1% that. Yeah. I'm tight.
Well, I think the whole idea is I think Sony are trying to go for future proof here.
Future proof. Yeah, fair call.
Yeah. It's something else that I wanted to talk about as well with the Pro. Let's take away 4K and HDR. What are we getting?
Smoother frame rates, and on that fact, I actually read more stable as well frame rates.
Yeah.
So-
Possibility of smoother frame rates. That again is a developer's
Exactly. I'm not sure if you guys want to discuss hardware right about now, but identically outside of the GPU, they're exactly the same.
That's
So
it. The GPU is 240% stronger.
Yeah.
Oh, I've got the facts in what is actually different. Take away 4K, take away the HDR. You're going to be able to stream 1080p, so online streaming, Twitch and YouTube and stuff, and also SharePlay. So on your computer, you can stream it at 1080 now. Previously 720 limited. You're going to have faster Wi-Fi because there's like 5 gigahertz now or something like that. Arguably, the PlayStation Pro is being designed for people that are into the core gaming experience. They're the professionals. Why the fuck are these professionals using Wi-Fi? If you're
Exactly.
serious about your gaming, get that thing hardwired with Ethernet. It's a waste of time and money, I think, and you're getting one extra USB plug. That's it. That's the differences.
USB 3.0.
3.0, yeah, they're all 3.0 on the front of the console. You're getting one extra 3.0 USB. That's it. That's all you're getting. That's the only differences they're making. There's nothing else. Like, a lot of people I've seen around the internet saying, oh, integrate PlayStation VR, because I think the PlayStation VR's got does a lot of processing itself and has a chunky box or whatever. I don't know. I haven't seen
It's
the
a little
actual setup.
little box that ups the frame rate, so
Yeah.
it just plugs into the. I don't know if it goes in the USB or into the port on the back, but
I think it's that
It's-
weird port in the back, or is that the
Yeah.
camera port?
that was the camera port. But whether it uses, I don't know.
Same tech, yeah.
It clips in somehow there, and it's designed to up the frame rate to it's 120.
Yeah,
FPS
120
or
I think
yeah.
it's up to. Yeah. So
Yeah.
look, that's all you're getting. So really the rehash is just changed the CPU's up, is it? Or do you say the CPU's the same?
CPU's exactly the same.
Yeah.
So it's just the graphics card, really, isn't
The
it?
GPU is
It's a big jump in quality, though, the GPU. That's a big jump.
Yeah, but see, how much is the PS4 Pro is $559.
Yes.
Yep.
I bought a GTX 970 and put it into my computer for $509, and I reckon that'll probably be just as good.
I put a GTX
Probably better.
G1
Probably-
in mine
probably
the other week, and I paid $439. So With cards coming down, I don't know whether they can eclipse the PC, but they certainly are getting closer.
It's just bridging a gap. They'll never eclipse the Master Race.
Do you think Sony are putting this out to make gamers happy, or to compete with PC and stop people from going across because they're not hitting benchmarks on the PS4?
I'll give you a third option to that question.
Sure.
We commented before starting recording of the Sound of Weeksy starting up.
Yeah.
I've heard a lot of PlayStation 4s in this early age that are now labouring.
Yeah.
And they labour, and some games are labour intensive. I'll go with Witcher 3, Fallout 4, Last of Us on PS3, as you said. That you could not do another thing with your PlayStation while that was running. Is this to mask up the fact that the shelf life of the vanillas, the PS4s, aren't going to be what's come before it? That's pure speculation. I've got nothing to back it up, but I've just heard a lot of PlayStations in my time, PS4s, that were.
Mine's not going to last 6 years, that's for sure.
Nah, neither will mine.
Well,
I reckon
As soon as I put anything labour intensive on, and something like a racing game where it's high frame rates, it's not so much graphical, but it's the frame rate you've got to keep up. It sounds like a jet engine.
Yep, and that's how I explain mine, Pat. It's exactly the same. Even on boot up, if I boot it up, it sounds like a jet plane taking off.
Yeah, PS747.
Pretty much.
I've opened mine up. I've cleaned it out. Everything didn't fix it.
It's almost like this weird reboot with the Pro is kind of like Sony admitting that we put out something we probably shouldn't have 3 years ago. The PlayStation 4 is not what it should have been. What's that guy's name?
Dickinson.
Yeah, him. Cerny, Mark Cerny, I think it was. The guy that speaks like he would put you to sleep if he read a children's book to you. He said that the concept for PlayStation 4 Pro came right at the time that they released PlayStation 4.
Of course it did.
And they've been working on it ever since. Like, did they release it and go, well, we're not going to be able to maintain 1080 and 60 frames here. We better look into something a little bit more powerful. But then with PlayStation 4 Pro going with 4K, are we putting ourselves in the same position that we're in 3 years ago with the PlayStation 4? The PlayStation 4 is too underpowered to produce 1080p and 60 frames across all the games that it has. And now we release something else out that I think isn't going to be powerful enough to produce 4K 60 frames a second.
No.
That's not going to happen. I think if everything's being output at 4K, the benchmark's going to be 30 frames.
A lot of people that have got a lot more knowledge about the GPU side of things than I do are all claiming that it's going to be, if it's running at 4K, you're going to have to cap it at 30 frames.
Yeah.
Because it just doesn't have the power to run it at 60. Let alone the 90 or 120 they're claiming they might be able to get to.
4K is probably beautiful. I'm not too savvy with 4K because I've never had one in the home. I've seen them in the shops and all that and other people's places, but I've never really gone and spent a fair bit of time with a 4K TV with the content running on it.
It's stunning.
I'll give you the tip. I play on a 4K telly.
Yeah.
And if I take my PlayStation out of that and I plug it into a full HD 1080 TV, I can't play my PlayStation.
Oh, that's because you're a snooty rich son of a bitch. No. But the point I'm making here is, okay, look, 4K TV is making your 1080p game look really good. But for me personally, I would prefer get the 1080p right properly. Get that first. Then venture on with a PlayStation 5 with 4K. You can't even give me 60 frames a second on a 900p game, let alone a 1080p game. And then you want to go back down to 30 frames a second, which was last generation. Every game was 30 frames or less. I want a steady frame rate. Give me a steady frame rate before you worry about resolution.
Correct.
You raise a really good point there. Are we going to have a PS5 in 3 years?
I think so. I think the PS5 will be out in 2018 or 2019.
So this is double dipping. This is fucked. This is where I'm fucking going to let it go. It's all good. I'm not well off. None of us are well off. I should emphasise that. Yeah, Weeksy's got 4K TV, but he's only just starting to become a father and starting a family now. So you're only going to have a 4K TV. You're going to have that one for the next 8 years.
That's your last TV.
But this was announced 12 months prior to release. I started paying off my PS4. My money was going onto it. I pre-ordered it. I went and paid $50 a fortnight or a month whenever I could get in and make sure that I had this thing day one. It's like, look at this new generation. It's $550 as opposed to $1,000 on the PS3. The entry price is perfect. I supported them, and whether it be Xbox One or whether it be PS4, regardless, if you went in and you put your money down and you bought day one with the faith in the company to produce the next generation of gaming, 1080p, 60 frames a second, 2 terabyte, 3 terabyte capable machines with your HDD, I feel like I'm fucking really let down. I put all that money in. And if I want to stay with the pack or stay ahead of times, I now have to pay that again and restart the generation, as you eloquently put it at the start of the show. It is restarting the generation again at a midway point when we're looking like we're going to be getting another $600, $700, $800 machine shoved down our throats in 3 more years. Plus the VR on top of it. To be a PlayStation gamer at the moment and just to stay with the pack, and that's not ahead of it or anything like that, fair dinkum, you need thousands of dollars. And do we not have a console because we can't afford, some of us can't afford big gaming rigs and we just want to play our games stock standard? That's what consoles are. It's a delivery of content across the board. And now we're being told you can have slightly better because the $550 that you paid 2 years ago, 1 year ago, 3 years ago, I bought my son a PlayStation 4 1 year ago. That is now redundant at the top of the line. Oh, I'm really cut by this. I'm pretty hurt, and the Scorpio's coming out soon, so hopefully we'll be able to hold another show like this, and it's probably going to do the same thing to the Xbox faithful. I just feel like I'm getting a real big boot up the arse from Sony, and as you said, they bought out the PS4. 4K was on the table straight away. 4K technology has been in use since 2010, so they knew they were going to do 4K. They just couldn't produce it in time to keep up with the 6-year cycle, to keep up with the Xbox One. People say Microsoft hurried up the Xbox to keep up with the PlayStation 4. Maybe that competition was slightly unhealthy, and now we've got what now seems to be a second-rate product. And I'm pissy because I don't think my consoles at the moment are inferior, but it's being made feel like that because you could have so much better.
Is it just the power of marketing, though?
What was that, Rex? What did you say?
Is that just the power? Is that just the power of marketing? Is that you feeling like because someone's sitting here playing on a PS4 Pro and you're playing on a PS4 that you feel inferior to that person?
No, not at all. I not inferior. No, I just feel because of the initial investment, it should all be on a level plane. Like, just digressing a little bit, we're going to have this developers going to have to put in the 2 modes now, PS4 or PS4 Pro mode. How many delays is that going to cause? How much fucking around is that going to cause the developers and going gold and day one updates? Are we going to be updating 4K shit on our normal PlayStations now because the game is just the one piece of the one product? It's just so much. How much more effort, work / downloading and time are we going to put into it because there's now 2 separate, I don't know, pieces of fucking equipment? I don't know if I'm making much sense there at the moment. But
yeah, look, I'll follow on from what you've said, Red. Now, you made a comment that your current PlayStation 4 will be obsolete from the top range, right?
Yep. That's been told, yeah.
Beg your pardon?
That's basically what we've been told, with everyone going the PS4 Pro is more powerful.
Yeah, so look, this is where I stand with it. It's all in the mind, I think, and it's not our fault. While the current PS4 won't be obsolete or anything like that, because there's not going to be any exclusives that will only play on PlayStation Pro or anything like that. It's a mandatory thing that all games going forward are all compatible across all of the PlayStations. So both models will be able to play them regardless. It's just that the Pro is going to look a little bit nicer and run a little bit better. But it's the notion of that the PS4 Pro creates an underpowered subclass of gamer, and that will bother people. Yes, they will still be able to do the same things, but it's like the example that I could draw is why mobile phones like iPhones and the new Galaxy S fucking 20,000, why they sell every 2 years, and why contracts go for 2 years. Why is that? After 2 years, yes, there's a new one out, but I can still use my mobile phone that I had 2 years ago. There's nothing wrong with it. It still makes phone calls. The new phone doesn't make phone calls on a new
band.
Yeah, new band, a new network. I can still make the calls. I can still send the SMSs. I can still use the internet. But why? Why do I go to the new one? Because it's more powerful and it does more. Right? And that's the mentality of a lot of people and a lot of gamers, I should say. We're techies. We like our tech. The people that are in it as much as us, they're like into gaming as much as us, we like our tech. Now, when I bought the PlayStation 4, similar to what you said, Red, I dropped my $550 on day one. And it might be my fault that I felt this way, but it's kind of the way the generations have gone, 6 or 7 years before a new one comes out. I thought that my purchase was sound for the best part of a decade.
Yep.
I did not realise that my techie consumer inside would have to repurchase again after 3 years.
It's not heard of. How can we be blamed for not anticipating this?
And like was pointed out in the introduction, every other PlayStation model has had a rehash with a slim model. There has always been a slim model. That's no surprise. But the slim model never did anything more than the console that was before it.
No.
And so the only thing that if you for some reason needed something like the console to be smaller, then you needed to buy the slim. But other than that, it did absolutely nothing in addition. We're splitting it here, and it might be just a personal thing. It's not a physical thing that needs to be addressed, but it's the way that it's going to make people feel. And like you said, Weeksy, you asked Red, are you going to feel inferior because you're on the old PlayStation? Red, you said no. I'm saying yes.
Yeah.
Sorry, go, Pat.
I was going to say, take emotion out of it and look at it from a point of view, is it enough? Is the PlayStation Pro enough of a leap forward for you to want it? Take emotion out of the case and look at the just the leap that it's made in technological side. Is it enough?
No.
No way.
No,
Me? Yes.
Why, Weeksy?
Why?
Well, I've got... Pat, you do too. But we have the TV. I have the capabilities there. And if I think that I can get a smoother and more stable frame rate, a higher resolution, and I can afford it, which I'm fortunate enough that I can, then I do think that's a big enough step forward for me to go and purchase it.
Yeah, but see, my problem is, Weeksy, I don't believe you're going to get that.
So basically, we're just living off Sony's promises again, like we were at the start of the PlayStation 4.
Yeah, we all thought that we were getting 1080. Yeah, we all thought we were getting 1080 and 60, didn't we? We didn't get that.
Correct.
We got that with a handful of games. I don't think you're going to get what you. I think it's going to be better. But I don't think you're going to get what you think you're going to get.
I
I don't
it's
think you're going to
capable.
see native.
No, native, no.
They
You're not
have
gonna see
thrown that
native
word
4K at all.
around, but
Fucking
I
hope they
highly doubt they. I highly doubt that they can achieve it. And if they do, I'll personally bend down and kiss their asses.
Yeah,
But I highly doubt that it's going to happen.
I just don't think the Pro has got what it takes to deliver what the expectations are. I honestly don't think so. I think that it is a massive leap forward from the PS4, and it'll look better and it'll have a lot more capabilities. But I just don't see it being a world beater.
Or utilised to its potential.
Yeah, not even. That's right. Utilised to its potential, because it's starting again with new hardware for the developers that they're going to have to start from scratch like they did. You look at a day one PlayStation 4 game, you know, although there's not major differences, but they don't look as good as the ones coming out this year. But that's because the developers have had more time with the hardware. They know what they can do and how to use the little tricks of the trade to get around it, make it look fantastic.
But how long has Sony had the Pro under NDA for?
Well,
So how long have they given
3 years.
developers? Exactly. So how long have they given developers to prepare for this? Because just for example, games that have already been released are going to be updated for the PlayStation 4 Pro. These include, Luke, you'll love this one, Uncharted, A Thief's End, The Last of Us Remastered, Infamous First Light, Shadow of Mordor, which has been out now for 18 months, 2 years, Red?
Easy.
It's been out for a while. And Deus Ex, Mankind Divided. So they're all going to be updated with the PlayStation 4 Pro patch on release day, day one.
You reeled off, 6 games there, and 2 were from third party. Everything else was first party. Of course they're going to release their first party exclusives with a patch, because it's the only thing that they can promise will actually come out in 4K.
But to say, it's obviously been, for them to do Shadow of Mordor, that's a game that's, once again, 2 years old, they'd have to have known for some time.
why?
Yeah.
Well, if they're going to bring out a patch for day one, they're not going to give them the 2 months that we've had.
Oh, no, definitely not. But what's to say that they've had the exact same time before the release of the PS4 Pro as they did before the release of the PS4?
Yeah, it's a valid point. Yeah. So
it's relative. It's probably going to be very similar. But
Why are they doing it with 2-year-old games?
it'll
probably-
be enough for me to go back and visit it.
probably just to increase the catalogue.
Yeah. Cool.
I've got the... Yep, you go, Luke.
I think this sets a dangerous and awful precedent for future design.
Fuck so why?
Now that we're rehashing mid-generation... Now, when we say mid-generation, we're only assuming that this generation would have lasted 6 years, 7 years. Who knows? Delete the PS4 Pro, maybe the PS4 was going to be around for 10 to 15. Probably unrealistic. So it's probably safe to say that it would have been... Let's just say that it's 7 to 10 years, the lifespan of the current generation. Rehashing it after 3 years, does that mean that in the next 3 years it's going to happen again with a rehash or a new generation? Let's say it's a new generation. If 3 years into that generation, it's going to happen again. Should we not?
with a new VR headset or something with everything built into the console.
Should we not? Should we be more cautious about what we buy when it releases? Because only around the corner there's going to be something better. Should I not? Should I wait for the Pro 2?
I think you should wait until the second generation of it at least.
Yeah, but
So you think they're going to bring another one, Pat, after this one?
I think there's a lot of certain features that have been overlooked or missed, that once Scorpio hits, they'll retweak their design and what sort of objectives they're looking for.
So has Sony done this to beat Microsoft to the punch?
I think in a manner it has. I think it has been rushed out.
But
So
but how do you manage that? How do you can't bring out a Pro? I was kidding when I said a Pro 2.
No, well,
but you're kidding. But you know
that's
how
not-
possible and fucking likely it is.
one of the big things from my point of view with this, because I do have the 4K telly, it was a yes for me originally. Before I sat down and watched the stream and got all the information in front of me, it was a yes.
Yeah.
Once all the information come out, I was stunned at just sort of where they were going, and you know the ambiguous wording, and the big part for 4K content when they're classifying it as, instead of it being a machine able to play 4K content itself, it's designed to stream 4K content. Now, being in Australia, streaming 4K content is near on impossible. Even on your 100 megabit connection, if you try and stream a 4K movie, I can't tell you how it'll go. It won't run in native 4K unless you can download it first and then play it after.
Yeah. Well, look, I can't really comment on that. I don't really know.
Well, we were
Well,
doing
4K
research side by side, weren't we, the other night, Pat?
Yeah, a 4K movie, 100 gig. So do you reckon you could download 100 gig in an hour and a half?
I don't know, Red, can I?
No.
Okay. No.
You go fucking well close. Maybe if you said, please put your rubbish in the bins at the end, and here's a local spa down the road, and you had about 30, 40 seconds at the start with the cinema ads, maybe you'd go really
Maybe you get there.
close. But nah.
Fair enough.
So the fact that it doesn't have a 4K drive in it is amazing to me. And Weeks, you probably had to back me up. 4K televisions, what, 90 to 99% of them are all smart TVs?
Correct.
So they've all got Netflix, they've all got YouTube. Some of them you can get Stan, depending if they're Android. You know, you can get all the services direct on your TV.
Yeah.
Correct. But the biggest issue TV manufacturers face, and we're drifting a little bit off topic here, but it's all a DRM issue, digital rights media issue.
Yeah.
That a lot of TVs struggle with. So
yeah, but if they're running Netflix has got everything's properly copyrighted, everything's good to go. It's all been released. There's no need to have Netflix on the PlayStation. I don't have the app on there anymore. I deleted it once I got a smart TV.
yeah,
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I use it
I
because
just use
the
it.
TV's too fucking slow.
correct.
Clunky as fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah, mine runs. The PlayStation app did.
Okay.
Oh, right, yeah.
That's good. Now,
enough.
I make a point here. Now, this isn't the first time that mid-generation for a console has gone to try and up the ante a little bit with an extra bits and pieces, right? So if we can cast our mind back, and this isn't just some bumfuck out of nowhere piece of shit console that's tried this. This is Sega. Back when the Sega Mega Drive was around, they attempted a couple of different... They went for add-ons. Although not a different console, they went for add-ons, which is pretty much exactly the same thing. They had the Sega Mega CD, and
Yes.
I believe they had the 32... Was it the 32X they called it? The thing that plugged on top?
Yeah. And
Yeah.
yeah.
They both failed miserably. They didn't do well. Obviously, Sony is taking some different approaches here, like with the whole everything's compatible. But I think with the Mega CD and the 32X, they were exclusive to those add-ons. But it's been tried before. The Nintendo 64 also attempted it. Theirs was a little bit kind of no exclusive, but maybe exclusive. They had the expandable RAM. There was the little RAM thing that you could pull out of the front. You could buy an upgraded one, which would supposedly load things faster and all that sort of stuff. You didn't need it, but you could get it. That failed miserably too.
PS2
The PS2
had the hard drive and slot in the back, which is not probably that doesn't increase quality, I guess.
Not performance, no. That was just a useless little addition that wasn't necessary. But it's this sort of stuff has been tried. Now, Sony are possibly going to be the first one to successfully implement it because of the the rules that they've put in place where everything must be compatible across both consoles, etc., etc. But it's just if this sort of takes off, because there are going to be tech heads out there like us that are coined up, that have the 4K TVs, that are going to jump on this and they're going to love it. They're going to lap it up. It's going to set that dangerous precedence, though. It's going to continually. Is there going to be a PlayStation Pro 2? And is it going to continually hurt us if we buy the PlayStation Pro? Now, I can afford it. I have the money. I can buy this. I'm not buying it for my own reasons. But then if I did want to go and spend this money on the Pro, am I going to be pissed off again in 3 years where I'm in the same boat again?
Yes.
You know, whether it be with the PlayStation 5 or the Pro 2, who knows? I don't know.
It's hard, and it's a gamble you take, really, at the end of the day. It's like anything, though. These blokes have gone out and bought the NVIDIA GTX 1080.
Yeah, I was just about to say, you're going to drop $500 on a video card in 3 years.
Best thing out there. Then, 12 months down the track, they release something that's better. So, it's that cycle that we're in. It's the day and age. Technology is moving that quickly that it is going to happen. It is bound to happen, and we're just stuck in the middle, throwing our cash out like we're fucking lapped up in Las Vegas.
Idiots. It's just like the PCs are modular. It's granted, no two people have the exact same PC unless you buy a factory pre-built thing, you know. No two people have the same specs on their computer. That's just the nature of that beast. I like the consoles. I predominantly play my video games on consoles because they're very simple. You know, if a game doesn't work on my console, I take it back. If a game doesn't work on my computer, it's because there's a fucking bug. I need an update on this. I haven't got the right amount of RAM. I haven't got the right thing here and there and all over the place, right? That's the comfort of a console.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to get at. You just summed it up with one word.
Yeah, I want my console to be the same as everybody else's for the generation.
You don't want a differential.
No, I don't like it. I don't like the idea of it. It is like a $4,500 upgrade for me, because the TV I want's $4,000, and obviously $500 for the console. So that's a bit of a sort of a handbrake on my idea there of upgrading. But if I wanted to, and if I really wanted to, I would. But I just don't. I don't have that passion in me to blow that kind of money on so little. And I understand they had to keep it fairly similar, because it's not the PlayStation 5. It's the PlayStation 4.5. So I guess that's why they're, other than the upscaling and the GPU, there's not really much different to it. All right, well, anybody got any more opinions on the PS4 Pro to throw in?
Just one quick one, personally.
Go, Red.
You ask if it's going to segregate us as players, between pro owners and vanilla owners.
Mm.
In your opinion, or to your knowledge, will they run the same OS?
I would think so.
I would think so, yeah.
So are we going to be doing updates and PlayStation updates on our normal one in excess of what our console requires?
Yeah, but that is a good question, Red. I know what you mean. Like, because sometimes, you know, like with Call of Duty, when the DLC comes out, if I haven't bought the DLC, I still got to fucking download it.
Yeah.
When
here's that.
Sorry, go.
Speaking on the updates, for example, I own a lot of digital games nowadays. Mm-hmm. I can't be bothered going to the shop. I don't have time. I work 9 to 5:30. By the time I finish, the shop's shut. But with the update that just happened, 4.0,
yep,
you can transfer your save data, your games, everything via an Ethernet cable.
Right. How does that help?
Yeah, to the PS Pro.
To the PS Pro. So one would say that you're not going to be updating any more than what your console's required of.
No, I think what Red's getting at's more the difference between the games running in 1080 and the games running in 4K.
Yeah, like if there's a bug in the 4K portion of a game, do I need to download it too? Is that what you're getting at, Red?
Well, you wouldn't have thought
absolutely.
so. I wouldn't have thought so. I would have thought there would be an option on maybe in the in-game menu to download the 4K patch, if you will.
I don't think there'll be an option. Being on a console, I think it'll all be automated. But like the point I was making with Call of Duty, when the DLC comes out, everybody has to download it, even though I don't buy the season pass. Just because the HDR and the 4K content is there might be an update in that portion of the game. Is that going to be pushed across
the operating system? Yeah.
Yeah, well, the operating system, the part that controls all the 4K bizzo, is that going to be pushed across to all of the standard console owners as well? Essentially, it's going to be wasting our data and wasting our time as well.
And our space. I know I'm probably a pleb with a 500 gigabyte hard drive. That's what I've got. And I deal with it. I delete, reinstall. I'm not complaining about that because that's my choice. How much of my 500 gig is going to be taken up by redundant operating software material because of the HDR, the 4K capabilities, and everything that's going to be required to just run the 4K, the Pro?
It is a good question. I don't think any of us can really answer it factually, but I don't know. I hope it's worked out in the back end somewhere.
And there's another point as well. Speaking of hard drive space, they're bringing out a PlayStation 4 Pro that's supposedly going to give us 4K content and putting a 1 terabyte hard drive in the thing.
Yeah.
We should have started the generation with 1 terabyte, and this should be a standard.
Let's be honest. How hard is it to put a 2 terabyte hard drive in a console? I've done it. Luke, you've done it. Pat, have you got a 2 terabyte hard drive?
Went from 500 to 1.
Well, there you go. It's
nice and easy. Yeah.
Yep. But then Wincy, currently the PlayStation 4 Pro is $559. If they had a 2 terabyte model, it would be $659.
Yep.
Because it looks shit on a price tag, Wixie. That's why.
Hot damn.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you can still buy the Slim at 500 gig.
Or as we like to refer to it here, the PS4 anti-red.
The PS Poor.
The PS4, yeah, you can't afford your protein, motherfucker.
All right, well, look, we're getting into the closing stages of the special show here, but let's chat about the Slim. Now, I don't think any of us are really considering the Slim, but the PlayStation 4 Slim is smaller, it's lighter, it's quieter, that's about it. It's apparently going to be taking the place. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. My understanding is the current PlayStation as we know it will be deleted. Is deleted, yep. And the Slim will take its place in production. So it'll be the PlayStation 4 Slim and the Pro.
Yeah, procedure.
Now, there's a massive issue with that. If my console dies today and I have to get myself, realistically 6 months down the line when all the old PlayStations are gone, and I have to buy a Slim, my high-end $400 gaming wireless headphones will not work on the PlayStation Slim. And do you know why? Red, I know you know why.
Yeah, I was about to go, pick red. Ooh.
No optical?
Because there's no optical out. Why the hell would they do that? Is this Apple? Removing ports?
Ooh, zing.
Well, yeah. That's a very good point because I scratch my head. I sell someone a TV, for example. I sell them a cheaper TCL that hasn't got the best sound, so they want a soundbar.
Yeah.
But the soundbar only supports optical. Their TV does not have an optical out.
Right.
So...
But that's a cheap product, right? A cheaper version of a telly, right?
It is, but when optical is becoming basically...
Standard.
Standard, exactly. So analog's basically obsolete. So why would they not be producing things with a digital out? And especially when the original PlayStation 4 had an optical out.
See,
Because HDMI can carry everything that optical can now.
yes. However, I've only just recently upgraded my stereo, okay? And then by recently, a couple of months. Had I not upgraded my stereo, this is the position I would be in. I can't plug, with my older stereo, I can't plug HDMI into my stereo. It doesn't have a HDMI input. I have to plug in my HDMI cable into my TV, and I plug in the optical into my stereo, and that's how I get my 5.1 surround sound, because I didn't have 7.1. 5.1 is all I have. Get the Slim, I can't run my PlayStation through my stereo anymore. Unless, and I've tried this before and it doesn't work because it might be just shitty TVs, plug your HDMI into your television, and then the TV my TV has a optical out, you plug that into the stereo. I never got surround sound from it. It didn't work properly.
No, it doesn't work properly, no.
It doesn't work. It doesn't decode properly through the telly from the HDMI to the optical. It just didn't work properly. I don't know if it was an inferior telly or if it happens across the board, but you're taking away an optical out, which just about everything takes when it comes to splitting up surround sound. I don't know why. I don't know why they've done that.
Well, where does that leave headsets now?
Well, they're going to have to start again. I don't know. Some sort of HDMI piggyback system.
Enter stage right, the Sony premium headset.
Well, that's it.
Well, it's coming.
Just more.
Yeah, you'll have to
Just
get the
cash money.
Sony one. But that's the thing. Like I said, I've just recently reviewed the LS30s, the Lucid Sound headphones, which are bloody fantastic, but they need an optical out port. So you can't use them with the Slim.
But there's not many things other than the USB wireless. So what are they? The PlayStation,
Gold.
they call them Golds or whatever,
Yep.
that uses the USB. So are they forcing your hand into buying those instead of third-party headsets like Astros or Turtle Beaches?
Well, it sounds like they are, but only with the Slim, because the Pro still has an optical out.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's
How rubbish does the Slim sound next to Vanilla and Pro?
Yeah. The Slim is garbage. I think I'm not happy with it at all.
Is it to save money?
Yeah, probably.
Like to make them a little bit cheaper?
But the problem is, you've got to think, these blokes buy these parts on a mass scale. So they're probably paying $2-3 for this optical port to put in the back of their hardware. So why can they not do that?
Saving space is maybe another thing. Who knows?
Yeah, who knows? I've never seen the internals of a
PS3 Slim. I've got the PS3 Slim sitting next to me. It's got an optical in it.
Yeah. So is my PS3.
Yeah.
Yeah, back then.
Like my fat one. Yeah. The PlayStation 4 isn't big anyway. I don't know why there's a Slim to start with.
It wasn't like the expression.
How small does it need to be? Seriously? The PlayStation Nano, give me one that fits in the palm of my hand. Oh, hang on, I got the Vita.
The Vita.
But, is what it is. I don't rate the PlayStation Slim. The PlayStation 4 Pro, I think, has a bigger bark than its bite, which I think is a shame. Yeah. I may be way off. It may end up being like a world beater, like I've said that it isn't. Who knows?
But it's going to cost you $5,000 to be a world beater, bro. You've said that yourself.
Yeah, that's true.
You still do get benefits, even though you don't have a 4K telly.
Yeah, so the character. Good to point out. Sorry, go ahead, Weeks.
So your character models, your draw distance, so is the rendering, it will obviously, once again, they still believe that you will get smoother and more stable frame rates. They reckon the environments will look a lot crisper, a lot sharper. So even though you've only got a 1080p TV, they still reckon it will improve your gaming experience.
Yeah, that's just the processing power.
But does that mean that... Sorry, mate.
No, go, Pat.
I was going to say, does that mean that they're just delivering on the promise from day one?
Yep.
Sounds like
Pretty
it.
much.
Yeah.
When you put it like that, exactly.
The
We
PS4
fucked
Pro.
up.
The PS4 Pro delivering what we kind of wanted the PS4 to do, but fucked up.
But that is important to point out that it will, even though you've only got a 1080p TV, it will improve character models, rendering, smoother frame rates, all that sort of stuff. So while you're not going to get the most out of it, you still will get a little bit. Is it worth $560? Definitely not.
Well,
Put it this way. I got $600 to upgrade, inverted commas like you done at the start. I'm definitely waiting to hear what Scorpio's got.
yeah, that might be time to jump ship there. But anyway, what I wanted to say is what I'm going to do is I'm going to spend my $550 on a 100-inch display.
You putting a big glass fucking border around your doodle?
I was waiting for some sort of what are you talking about? That sounds preposterous.
We're just all kind of
VR.
waiting for you to elaborate.
It's exactly right, Red. PlayStation VR will be able to simulate an 100-inch screen.
Yep.
I think it's 100-inch, or it might even be
Yes.
bigger. But
Oh, go on, boast.
still talking about VR here. So yeah, look, I think we've covered a lot there. I think that was very well done. You guys got any last words before we finish up? I think that's good.
VR and motion sickness VR and Weeksy just aren't going to get along.
Yeah. Well, hey, that's a good point to bring up, actually. See, Sony want my $550, and they're getting it for VR. That's probably the reason. That's probably the main reason I'm not going the Pro. They're coming out
Asymmetrically.
a month
Yeah, a month apart, aren't
a month apart. The VR comes out on the 13th of October, and the Pro comes out
they? 10th of November.
10th of November.
Yeah.
So basically a month apart. You're not getting $550 of my money for the VR, and then again another $560 for the Pro. It's not happening.
But yes.
I'd have one of those new DualShocks, though.
Oh yeah, I'll probably buy one of them.
The only
It's
major difference is the backlight behind the touch bar, correct?
yeah, that's it.
It's a little bit smaller or lighter, one of the two.
It's just that they've got like a clear window on the touchpad, yeah, so you can see through to the light underneath it.
I got the impression it's like when you light up your keyboard, you get the light around the keys and underneath the... I don't know. We'll see.
It's a thin line that goes across the touchpad, which is like transparent, which will allow the light below it, which is the light bar that's already there on the current consoles, to shine through. That's it. That's all it is. I like it.
Well,
I like it.
I need a new DualShock, so I'm just going to wait for one of them.
Yeah, I'll get one.
And just in case you can notice your 0.0001 second lag from the Bluetooth communication from your original DualShock, you can use it with a USB cable.
We were talking about that earlier. I said, how many times you gone, fuck that controller lag?
But yeah, so that's another main difference. You can use it with a USB, so you don't get controller lag.
Do you know why they're doing that?
Because the Xbox do it?
Because the Xbox One does it. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I can't say that with my Unco abilities in the game, that's the last thing on my mind is that there's that 0.00001 second, nanosecond of a delay with the Bluetooth.
But yes, that's another major change to the new
Oh, mate.
Major change.
Eliminate
well,
that lag.
that lag, it just kills me, man. Every time I'm playing Call of Duty, I'm going well, then the controller lag hits in, and next minute I'm 1 and 30.
There's only one thing really you use that scale to measure it, and that's my intimacy.
Oh dear, that's my problem. That's why I'm going so bad.
You need a USB up your bum.
I'm gonna plug it in. Oh, dude, that's funny. That is very funny. All right. All right, let's go to the last question that I posed at the start of the show. Will we buy the PS4 Pro or the Slim Red?
No.
You didn't need to answer. The giggle would have sufficed. Snoogans?
If they put a 4K drive in the next generation.
That's the killer.
Fence-sitting motherfucker.
No, that's the one thing. One of the big things when I first bought the PS3 was that it was the cheapest Blu-ray player available. So there was that extra bit of usage for it.
Yeah.
Now you've got the Xbox One S, which is, in line with the PlayStation Slim, and that's got a 4K drive in it. Sony come out and they made Blu-ray. They've got the patent on it. I don't understand why there's not one in it.
I'll throw this at you. And once again, it's going to come back down to a money issue. But a 4K player now is worth about $89.
There you go.
Cheap asses.
So, $89 will get you a 4K player that you can plug into your 4K telly. More cords, yes. Is the lack of a 4K drive going to turn me away from it? No, it's not. But I can see exactly where you're coming from. That.
No, it hasn't. You just pre-ordered, motherfucker.
You've already got your money down on it. So, to answer the question, Weeksy?
Yes.
Yeah.
I have money down on it, and I will be picking it up day one.
That's the Pro, not or the Slim. Which one? You getting the Slim?
No. That can go clean out the office window. It's the PlayStation 4 Pro that I will be having day one.
All right. Now, this is for Red and Snoogans and also myself. So when we're in a chat party, all of us, and we're playing a game, the second that Weeksy says anything snooty and fucking down the end of his nose at us about the console he's using, we're fucking booting him. Is that a deal? Done. You're gone, and we're going to hammer you.
I'll gladly take that, and I'll just lay on my bed of roses while I'm enjoying glorious 4K.
Yeah, well, you remember, not that we remember it.
Up to 4K.
Up to 4K.
4K capable. Oh, I'm going to watch me fucking 120p YouTube video upscaled.
Right,
which my TV already does. It does upscale. So
yeah.
While the rest of us
it does look good when it's upscaled, doesn't it?
It's the only reason you watch home videos, isn't it?
And while the rest of us are playing on our PlayStation 6110.
Yeah.
PlayStation 486.
I like PlayStation 4. All right. Well, I guess that'll do for the special PlayStation Pro / Slim podcast this week. Thank you to everybody that has listened to us. No doubt some of you are swearing at your stereos or phones or whatever you're listening to this on, and you really, really want to have your say. You can do that on our Facebook page where this podcast will be pinned at the top. Make your comments in there. There's probably some other places you can comment. I don't know. Wherever it is, we'll be likely to find it and reply back to you. Let's get a fired-up conversation going. Keep it sensible. Let's not troll, but give your opinions. Thanks everyone for listening, and we'll catch you all next week, which will probably be an even specialer show, because there might be something that we've got in the works for then, but it's not completely worked out yet, so we'll keep it a secret. So, see you later, everyone.
See ya.
See ya.
In lieu of what's that sound? Jog on.
Actually, considering we haven't stopped recording, I forgot to say thank you very much to both Weeksy and Snoogans for joining us this week for this special show. Thank you. You guys have been awesome.
No problems, mate.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, no worries.
And Weeksy, thanks, bro.
Yeah, whatever.
You arsehole, Red.
I love podcast noobs, mate, because it sounds like what I am used to.
All right, catch us later. Goodbye. Peace out.
Peace.
but it's a conscious decision from a family point of view. If I've got something where I can have that extra sort of thing with it being a Blu-ray player, I bought it. You know, I'm not well off. You know, money's always very strategic where it's spent, and it was okay. I can play games on it and I can watch Blu-rays. So that was a thing. Now, if I'm going to upgrade halfway through a cycle, there's got to be more than the possibility, because there's no way in hell that I can stream 4K. It's just doesn't happen.
Only just.
So what you're saying, if you were going to go to the Pro, you'd trade in your 4?
I would trade in my 4, and it'd have to be able to run. I'd have to be able to go down in the shops, buy, you know, Star Wars in 4K, and watch that.
During this podcast, you only just managed to stream 68 kilobytes a second for your voice through Skype.
And mate, I've actually gone and I've hardwired the PC into the NBN tonight, so I'm running at full 11 megabit a second, and it was still glitching out on me.
Luke's going, that's cute.
Yeah.
I'm going, oh, I wish.
Yeah.
No, that's fair enough. Then it's good. You make a good point. There's not a lot of streamed content out there anyway. That's 4K.
No, if I was in the US and I was running it,
Google.
You know, with Google Network or something like that, then this would be perfect. The problem is that we are in Australia. I've tried to stream 4K stuff directly to the television. The best I can get it is 720, and then the TV upscales it.
Yeah.
So, you know, if I can have something that's running in native 4K, then that's a win for me, because I have watched stuff in native 4K and it's phenomenal.
Oh, it doesn't look good.
It is a massive leap from 1080.
Demo discs in Harvey Norman.
Yeah, and even like I downloaded some demo stuff to plug into the telly.
Yeah,
and it looks phenomenal. It really does. But yeah, just going sort of back and forward and looking at it, and let's be honest, the Pro is designed for this 4K stuff, and everything that I've read, the only thing that would guarantee me that I could get 4K is out of a movie, and you need a drive for it.
Yeah, because what I was just about to say, because we were saying something about the other day, and you said, "Oh, I'm on my cap." Imagine if you're downloading, streaming in 4K.
Well, I hit my cap because I was running that stuff at 720.
Wow.
No, that's the only thing.
So many problems have been in Australia.
Yeah, but I'm with their standard plans now are unlimited, but they're still only 10 megabit a second.
Fuck.
I was going to say, why don't you go with what I've got? But my plan does cost about double what yours is.
Yeah, so I'm paying $55 a month.
Yeah, mine's 110.
Yeah.
Fuck,
so,
mine's 118.
Yeah, $55 a month.
Oh, does that burn you?
200 gig.
Hey, Tassie, bro, we've got no competition, so Telstra do not have to bring their prices down. And I only get 800 gig.
I only get 200. I get 100 on, 100 off.
Oh, wow, that sucks too.
But
peak.
the good thing with being IINet, my Netflix isn't counted into that.
Oh, that's okay then.
So, yeah, but...
That's where about 60% of mine goes.
Yeah.
Hey, Weeksy.
Hey.
What's your download limit?
500 gig.
And what's your download speeds?
Oh, PC, 13 megabits.
I've got 100 megabits and unlimited downloads. Take that and stick it in your PS4 Pro.
Well, the NBN build has commenced in my area.
Yeah, fibre to the node.
Oh,
I'm just getting in before he gets all snooty with his Pro because I'll be upset.
I'm gonna come up and piss on your box on the side of your house.
It's halfway up the house. You wouldn't have that much pressure in that little thing.
Fucking take your shirt off.
Oh, I was going to say you can piss into a cup and pour it on.
Yeah.
Oh, funny shit. Guys, no, seriously, that was a